Hey, guess what, White Sox fans? My name is Brett Ballantini. It is Side Sox Mothership Podcast number 96. We are here to share with you the unmitigated joy of being a Chicago White Sox fan. Yes, as Chrystal O'Keefe put it, the White Sox made great moves today. What else do you need to say? That's the theme of this podcast. We have a bunch of people to get to. We have a very wide round table and discussing all the good things that happened today. And okay, in the second half, one thing that wasn't so great. But let's go around first and get things started. Oh my gosh, we got heavy hitters on this podcast. We are going out to the West Coast. The man, the myth. He's optimistic, and he's extra optimistic today. It is Sox Optimist. Welcome to your first official group podcast. How are you feeling today?
I really hope my mic's working. Is my mic working?
I can hear you. And what else matters?
Thank God. That would have been hilarious if you gave me that big intro and it was just like,
oh, we would have made fun of you. It's cool.
How you doing, man? What a day. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's really all I got to say. You can keep moving down the line.
Sure, feeling all right. All right. Go to the top corner on the right to block. Not necessarily a nickname for this podcast. It's Adrian Serrano. How are you feeling today, Adrian?
I'm doing pretty well. I got some breaking news just now that it seems like the Goosehead is going to be retained by the White Sox as a high leverage lefty out of the pen. So we're winning all day today.
Or, they just got extra money. They don't desperately need that Miller Lite or whoever money now. So it's like, yeah, all right, keep the goose up. Okay, Trooper, do not play him off keyboard. Cat is Trooper Galactus. He is up now. Can be critical of the White Sox. I believe a little bit his turn today. Trooper, how are you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. It was nice to find out that Rick Hahn and I have something in common. Neither of us is a fan of the White Sox.
All right. We'll get back to you and let you explain there. Again, shepherding our happy White Sox content today. Breaking news, terrific work she did. At this point, she's my right-hand gal. Manning and womaning the Indianapolis field office all alone. No jury, Joe Reese's today. It is Chrystal O'Keefe. Chrystal, I think we already know, but how are you feeling today?
Pretty good. Pretty confident for a change. We actually have a good player on our team now. So that's cool. I'm going to really miss Jake Burger, though. I'm bummed, but also no Zach Collins. So, I'm just happy on another level today.
A severe lack of Dubs dancing, but somehow I think you're going to be able to get past it, Chrystal. Next up, listen, we know he's got to be pretty, he can be tough on the White Sox too, but you got to be pretty happy today. It's Father Soxivist himself. He is joined again, lending his name to this podcast, heavy hitting podcast today. Tommy Barbee, you feeling all right today?
I am feeling good. I cannot remember the last time the Sox traded for a player I genuinely liked on another team.
No kidding.
It's been a very long time, but I'm feeling good.
And finally, the baddest ass of all the badasses on this podcast. She's back. She's out of the hospital. She's 150%. She's not 90%. She's not 100%, 150%, and probably feeling pretty good. Delia, Ritchie, how's it going?
Well, great. I've been out for like 2 weeks now. So sadly, no diagnosis. Can't really tell what's wrong with me. But thankfully, the White Sox maybe heard about my magical comeback. And they got rid of Zach Collins for me. So you know what? That healed any ailment I had. But I also, like Chrystal, I'm upset because I love Jake Burger. He should be proud that he made my mom cry. And that's hard to do because in his post-game interview, first game up, I'm like, way to make me attached to you. But I love AJ Pollock, so I'm really excited. I've tried to message my friend who's a Dodgers fan to be like, give me everything you have on him because I need to know everything. So hopefully that'll come back, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Delia. Okay. Now listen, obviously this is the trade that no one thought could happen, as in all our different messagings, today internally, on, social media and whatnot. We gave credit to James Fox, who did claim that somehow the White Sox were going to be able to rid themselves of Craig Kimbrough and pay zero money, which seemed absolutely, it seemed like a prank. And again, he even admitted today that he was going to be nervous that would happen, as well he should be, because that's crazy. This should not have happened. Your reactions to learning about a trade, that being Craig Kimbrough straight up for AJ Pollock, without even a big investment into Pollock, he basically is probably going to be gone next year. He has a player option. He's probably going to exercise and take off. So this is really 1 year commitment. Doesn't clog up, say, this right field train that we got coming up. Maybe too late for Miker. Sorry, Father Sox Optimist, maybe too late. But this is a deal that absolutely shouldn't have happened. Rick Hahn really should just stay out of free agency and just make trades. He seems to do very well with them. Are you as shocked as I am? This is just delightful. It is Christmas in April.
I think that the biggest surprise was that I think, as we've seen, like the offers weren't there that they thought were going to be there. They thought they were going to easily get rid of all 16 million and maybe pick up some younger guys and, figure something out. The fact that they brought back 10 million in Pollock shows that, like, all right, we're going to prioritize getting the best player fit we can rather than just trying to get the most savings we can. And I think, at least as a Sox fan, that makes me feel a little better about this offseason so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more than I thought they'd get back. There is obviously, I think both sides kind of look at this as they're taking on just a different form of risk with a different form of upside. In the case of Kimbrough, obviously he's had a recent track record of being really, really bad with spurts of being exceptionally good. And Pollock is kind of the same thing for the outfield. He was outstanding last season, and he's generally been very good. But with Pollock, the issue has always been, is he going to be healthy? Because this is a guy who doesn't tend to play more than like 110 games a season. So it works out well for both teams. Kudos to Hahn for finding a partner that the trade worked for. And the money kind of evens out, really, because Pollock is only making $10 million this year, but I believe his buyout is for $5 million. So if White Sox don't choose to keep him around, which I believe there's escalators in the contract as well. So if he goes out and has an awesome year, it becomes more expensive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's it's not really sinking them any deeper into the fire monetarily, and it's getting them something they needed more than, well, up until today, I suppose, something they needed more than a relief arm. I guess that was why I was even more surprised. I was like, man, now you trade a relief arm?
Yeah. It's basically a $15 million commitment. So the money's pretty even up. But again, similar to a guy we decided not to give a qualifying offer to, if you can get that kind of WAR production, even from 2/3 of a season, oh man, you're going to be really, really happy with that. And you're going to beg him to stay for one more year. Other reactions, this had to be pretty, this was, we saw it even internally in our communications on Slack. It was jaw dropping. Everybody was just like, this really can't be. And on April Fool's Day, you gotta be a little skeptical.
I will say, I was walking to campus, so I got everyone's notifications right in order, and I'm like, do I go to class right now? Do I skip? I went to class. I'm a good student. Mom, if you're listening, I went to class. But I opened my phone, I'm like, and so everyone that was coming this way towards me were like, good God, did she find out some life-altering news? And I did. The White Sox made a good trade. It was insane.
I was just refusing to believe anything on Twitter today because honestly, I'm just a pessimist anyway. But yeah, then it just kept happening, and I have the Score app on my phone and they are reporting on it, and I was like, oh my God, did they actually do something that I approve of? Thank you, I needed this. But yeah, I didn't want to believe it at all today, and I'm still kind of in shock that it happened because he's really good as long as he's healthy, and Kimbrough's really bad even with great health. So man, it was a good day.
Okay, Matt, Tommy, I'm going to direct your response. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Is there any chance I mean, we've been skeptical regarding, Hahn and the whole idea of even picking up the options is just like a no-brainer. Is there any chance he had this in his back? I mean, Dodgers are overloading the outfield. Is there a chance he's had this in his back pocket all along and we just was holding out, or was this just really great fortune to rush up on him quickly? What's your thought on it, or just reactions to what happened?
Well, I think the Jansen stuff probably predicated this a little bit. But if that was in his back pocket the whole time, man, like you could pull that trigger a long time ago for sure. And my reaction today, being 2 to 3 hours behind some of you guys, and I was out pretty late last night too. So I woke up to this news and did what anybody does, which is try to think of the funniest tweet that you can tweet about it. And then once I figured that out, so I'm on a text thread with a bunch of dudes I play baseball with out here in Los Angeles. And I feel like the indicator, the most belly centric indicator you can get on a trade in terms of who won a trade is how the opposing team reacts to said trade. And I will tell you what, there are some sad dudes on my phone this morning. Yes. And that seems like, to me, as good an indicator as any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Hahn was sitting on this deal. I mean, there has been indications for a while that right field was going to be a problem. Maybe Hahn thought somehow there would be another team that was more desperate to spend money on a correct Kimbrough, but I just don't see that being the case. So, I good on him for taking advantage of it. I'm pretty sure he got the phone call and couldn't say yes fast enough, and probably offered to drive AJ over, get him fitted for a White Sox uniform all by himself. But I think it's a really beneficial trade, and I know there's a lot of concern about his health, but even playing 100 games, he's going to put out more production than the White Sox have seen in a very long time in right field.
Yeah, exclusive photos on Southside Sox tomorrow. You will see actually Rick Hahn carrying, both because of injury concerns and just because he was so darn happy, carrying AJ Pollock over the moat between the two camps at Camelback Ranch just to make sure he was delivered there safely and got him quickly before the Dodgers could say, hey, wait, no, you didn't get the rest of the text that we sent you, all the other stuff we were going to get, like all the money we were going to get stuck with. Yeah, too late. I got him. He's in my arms.
Or if he just actually is in on this and it was an April Fool's Day joke and AJ is actually not coming, we're going to wake up tomorrow and he's going to be like, just kidding.
Don't put that out there.
I am an eternal pessimist. I'm sorry.
Don't you dare put that evil on me, Chrystal. Think of Rachel. I don't want her to suffer.
That's fair.
I mean, there is the caveat to this whole thing that, like, when I read about it and once I got past the fact that, no, this is not like somebody's bad idea of an April Fool's joke, the first thing I thought to myself was kind of like the same thing I thought when people were talking about trading Kimbrough for another Dodgers outfielder, Cody Bellinger, in that the Dodgers are a pretty well-run organization for the last decade, roughly. And they tend to make pretty good moves for the most part. They tend to bring in good talent, and they've got good evaluation of major league talent as well. And they've always kept like a ton of depth across their roster. Like we've been screaming for Jock Peterson as our right fielder for the past, like, it seems like forever. And they've treated him like a fifth outfielder. Yeah. So, they've stacked depth all these years. And the only thing that has given me pause about this whole thing that keeps me from being 100% just elated about it is, are they trading him for a reason? Like, did they see something or do they know something that they're just kind of like, here you go. He's kind of damaged goods and we'll take your damaged goods and we'll both try and make the best out of it, but we'll see.
Probably. But I mean,
I think it's more that they really have gotten to look at Blake Treinen and say that he's really good, but we're not sure if he's ready to be a closer yet. And something about them liking a big, swaggering closer out there, even though there's just left.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ Pollock's 34 years old. So, I mean, there's probably an element to that. I don't think this is going to be like Alex Rios level bad, where it's just like, here, we're giving you this player away for nothing because we know he's at the absolute end of his career. I just think it's it's not worth the risk anymore for the Dodgers. And the upside of having somebody like a Kimbrough, who, I've said all along, put him in a closing situation, I bet he'll perform well. He'll probably work well with the Dodgers pitching coaches. And that's a guy that you can flip at the deadline if need be. And the Dodgers are always a team that tinkers around the deadline to find guys they can pull in. And that's the perfect guy to have on your roster for that purpose. So, I mean, I think it was beneficial for both sides, but yeah, I totally understand having that tinge of, what's really happening here. Is this really an April Fool's joke?
Isn't Kimbrough 34 also? I mean,
yeah.
Okay,
What if
the
the Dodgers just want like a Kimbrough kid for some like good highlights for their season, since they have like an absolute garbage person on their team? They're like, we're going to deflect and we're going to bring the Kimbrough kid back and we'll finally be seen as better people.
You should be head of PR for the Dodgers. That's pretty good.
Thank you. I'm going to apply tomorrow.
I think, yeah, Chrystal, that's probably the greatest PR conception they'll have, because God knows they're probably fielding left and right. Like, what can we do to make us better as a
Dodgers?
There's definitely not enough PR people in LA. You should definitely get out here.
I don't think there's a lot of people with morals in LA, honestly. Like, I don't think there's a lot.
Hold on now. Slow it down.
I mean, like, in terms of people that were raised there, like born, not transplants. Like, I feel like if Midwest go West Coast or East Coast, they kind of bring the whole uppity moral goodness thing. But
we can have a side convo on this. I could talk all day.
Yes, this will be Patreon exclusive content. This will be podcast 96A. Okay, Tommy Barbee has addressed the buyer's remorse portion of the podcast. Terrific. Thank you, Tommy, for doing that. Wonderful of you. Listen, as if this a prank, we're still a year from the worst prank ever. It's never going. Even if this was a prank, it's not going to be worse than hiring Tony La Russa as your manager. So do your worst, White Sox. You can't kill us worse than that one, but please just get him in uniform, get him out there tomorrow. Let's see the guy play. Let's take a quick break. We're gonna talk about other stuff that happened. Mostly good, some bad. In a second, we're gonna take a quick break and be back. Stick with us for the second half of this podcast. Hey, listen, White Sox fans, we've got a big group here. It's podcast number 96. I'm Brett Ballantini, lucky enough to host this. We've had side conversations. There's debates about, the moral turpitude of residents, transplants or otherwise. Should we already be feeling remorse about getting rid of Craig Kimbrell? Oh man, all sorts of things I didn't expect were necessarily going to come up in this podcast, but we're here, we're doing it, and we're doing it for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading. Big news day. Chrystal O'Keefe in the middle square. I don't know how it shows up if you're watching, but for me, she's the middle square. I'm going to take her to block anytime. She wrote a great piece for us today. Bringing the great news. And part of that was that Lucas Giolito, after apparently some sort of humorous, maybe a little bit of hard Scrabble talk with the big man, Jerry Reinsdorf, came to an agreement, got himself paid to some degree. I don't remember what the original numbers were. I'm guessing they pretty much split the difference. I don't know. Is this something to the group? Is this something that makes you feel a little bit better about Lucas sticking around past 2023? Or is this just, okay, little bit of damage control, got him back, seems happy. Now maybe let's work. Is there any chance at any sort of extension? This Lucas seems like a guy who's going to test free agency.
I actually saw something earlier. I think maybe James Fegan had tweeted or something to that effect. And he said like he was actually really happy and in a good place. And, they had a nice long 10-minute walk to discuss this. And he really feels like he's in a good place now. Oh, no, it was with Chuck on the broadcast. That he feels better about it. So now I'm just like, okay, well, maybe he's not going to be on the Mets soon. Let's just cross our fingers on that one. But I am relieved that it seems like they worked things out. I would love to hear Rick Giolito's point of view. If he could tweet that out, that would be interesting though.
Rick's about 3 scotches in, but yeah, he can still tweet. Please, that's the best time to tweet. Yes.
My math is not the best, but if my math is correct, I believe the offer that they settled on is $50,000 less than Giolito's posted offer, which is exactly where this all started at. So they agreed to what they should have agreed to and not let this become a story. But as the White Sox tend to do, they like these things become a story and then circle back around and ask Tony again, and he doubles down.
Yeah, but Adrian, the good news is sometimes it just goes. It's just an ellipses to nowhere. And I mean, at least, okay, so there is actually a beginning and end. It's sort of ugly, but there is an end to this one. So, all right, for the White Sox, that's a kudos.
At the end of the day, it's business. I don't know if it has any bearing on how good of a chance they want to retain Lucas. The only way they're going to retain Lucas is with a real offer, and time will tell if they make him one.
Oh man. Yeah, let's just enjoy this for today because we start contemplating that. Oh, yikes. We all sweat a little bit more. Other reactions to having Lucas. Listen, he's the ace. Whether he's going to be the open day starter, whether you prefer, Lance, whatever. Lucas is the guy who could be here long-term, could be here forever. He could be a lifetime White Sox in theory. He's the guy who comes out. He's the bulldog. He's the leader. He's the player rep. Sorry, Sox. Pretty important to have him, happy, not even at the last minute, but pretty happy going into the season.
Trying to look at this from at least as positively as I can. I think that Jerry getting directly involved is a positive sign, and maybe a sign that they're looking at actually offering him a serious deal that isn't necessarily just the team trying to, squeeze as many of his free agent years out of him at as low a cost as possible, but making preparing to make a legit serious offer to keep him on the team, that he wouldn't just, because I believe that the last offer they made, they didn't even respond to it because it was nowhere near what they were looking. So if Jerry's involved, then maybe the numbers are, maybe they're talking real numbers. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a White Sox offer. I mean, it's not going to be a free agent offer, but yeah, is it going to be a lame, don't even respond offer? Is it going to be something that's like, this is really the best we can do? And can you give us that hometown discount that doesn't seem like you're compromising yourself too badly? There's just no way they're going to blow away the free market. They're not going to take out the Mets or the Dodgers, in an offer, but hopefully you're right. This is hopefully a good sign in that,
hey, maybe this is the first, maybe they look at Giolito and see the first guy they signed in 9 figures, but I doubt that, but it'd be nice to see for a guy who I think has earned it.
Well, another year inflation is going to just jack everything up. So really those dollars won't be quite as expensive. Yeah, 9 figures might not be so scary in another year. Who knows? Maybe Jerry's so clever. He's so clever. I think there was a little bit of addressing the catcher situation. I don't think there's too much to make of it because Yasmani Grandal, wants to play 160 games this year, which would be great. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. Is it Seby Zavala? Is it someone to be determined? Is it Nick Ciuffo? I don't even think this is how you pronounce his name. Nick Ciuffo? Nick Ciuffo. Is it going to be Nick Ciuffo, a veteran backstop, backing up Yasmani Grandal? Or should we even be spending time talking about this? Because who cares?
It's going to be Nick Ciuffo, defensive guy. He's just that guy that we wanted last year. They realized that having those young kids out there handling that pitching staff is just not the way to keep your pitchers happy and win ball games. So we're going to see a lot more veteran leadership in that role.
How's his bat? I legitimately don't know much about the guy.
Bad.
It is a backup catcher's bat.
He's defensive oriented. We'll frame it that way.
So what you're saying is he can frame pitches and catch the ball.
Yes,
Right.
he can do what
My
catchers
bar-
do.
My bar is in hell for backup catchers. So
Yeah,
Thank
when even Seby sort of caught the Zach Collins disease and couldn't throw anymore, couldn't block anything. Tony's yelling at him. What a catastrophe. Okay, let's address, even on this happy podcast. Again, sorry, Chrystal, we got to divert from your story a little bit to go to mine. The bad news, of course, Garrett Crochet, not necessarily going to be this crucial piece, even though people were aspiring to have him be the Michael Kopech of the staff this year. Hurt yesterday, seemingly has pretty much always been hurt. This is maybe even going back to college, has always had something nagging him. Big velocity guy, interesting motion, all that Chris Sale fear. I guess we're seeing come maybe more to roost with the White Sox, at least in Garrett Crochet, not in Chris Sale. Going to be out, seems likely with Tommy John surgery, going to be out the season, maybe comes back about a year from now. How big a hit is that going to be for the White Sox? It clearly is a hit, but is this something the Sox can easily overcome given what seems like an endless, a cavalcade of high velocity relief pitchers they have in the system?
I feel like we are one injury away from having a terrible bullpen. Because
I think, yeah,
that
the one
sucks.
injury would be Aaron Bummer. If Aaron Bummer has an injury, there's a problem, you know,
Yeah.
for sure, because there's just not enough left-handed firepower. But yeah, it's concerning.
Joe
And
Kelly.
Bummer is injury prone.
Oh
too.
shoot, yeah, Joe Kelly. I just remembered that.
He's also injured.
Yeah,
He's also
Joe ain't,
injured.
Joe ain't coming through that door anytime soon.
Yeah, early on it's going to be interesting. He's going to have a little bit of time for Tony to do some, you know, go out there and show me what you got, because we're going to start the season with 3 bullpen arms gone, with Kimbrough, Crochet, and Kelly starting on the IL.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I am the voice of optimism here.
Yeah, I was going to ask for it, and I agree, Tommy, but go ahead.
Developing bullpen arms is the one thing the White Sox are good at. Every year, there's some random dude that you've never heard of that's fallen out with like every other organization, and for whatever reason does well with the White Sox.
Right.
And frankly, given how Tony La Russa manages, finding a left-handed arm is probably easier than it would be in other circumstances. And I think it's a good thing that whatever was going on with Garrett Crochet is now being dealt with the Tommy John surgery, because he just never looked comfortable since his breakthrough rookie year. He just looked like a guy that was fighting himself, fighting his body, and couldn't quite figure out the mechanics and what he needed to do to be the guy that the White Sox needed him to be. So I think it sucks from a development standpoint. I know that's a year further off before we find out, is he a starter? Is he a reliever? What is he? But I just think that I would rather him come into a season completely fresh, being able to focus on being the best version of himself that he can be, as opposed to just fighting himself and trying to do more than he can.
Tommy, that was actually kind of beautiful what you just said there. Like, he's the best version of himself. Like, that's all we can hope for anyone. But yeah, with Garrett, it's a huge hit, and I was actually really kind of sad because his jersey number, I think, is 45. I'm not sure. It is, and so I'm a soft spot for the 45s because Bobby Jenks was my favorite closer of all time. So I am going to side with Tommy on this one, go for the optimistic route. Like, as long as we can develop them properly and not overexert them, meaning develop the bullpen arms properly, that could be a good sign.
Delia, you think we just hand out these titles? It's well earned. Father Soxvis isn't just something we didn't we didn't even vote on it. It just like he woke up one day and the beard was there. It's like, okay, it is. Just wait till next year. Oh my God, when we have 35 days of White Sox Christmas. It's going to be crazy. And it's all on you, Tommy. So start figuring it out now, because it's April. Hey, and all you esteemed experts who I admire just to the bone are forgetting about the key solution to this left-handed problem. And that's a long man lefty out of the bullpen, Dallas Keuchel.
I did hear somebody throw out, since, there's still the rumors about them being in on Minaya and trying to bolster the starting pitching, is going and getting a starter and putting Kopech back in a bullpen hybrid starter role. But that doesn't really help lefties. But it's an interesting thought, at least.
That doesn't help the rotation much either. The rotation really strong up top, and then okay, well, somebody's going to pitch. Right now it's Dallas Keuchel.
Also, Dallas is probably the number 3 starter. He has to be, right, to break up all those righties. Like, you can't throw 3 righties in a row and then Dallas.
Oh man, it's getting depressing now. Jeez. Okay, come on. We need to pick me up.
Christ, don't say that.
Pick me up.
We're talking about 2022 Cy Young Award winner Dallas Keuchel here. Okay, everybody.
That is the truth. I mean, the t-shirts are practically printed up, Adrian, for sure. Okay, let's go around once more before we wind this thing up, perhaps even on time. And that is, what I want to know is, hey, Rick Hahn redeemed himself. When it comes to trades, he does all right, man. His grade was hovering around the D to F. Tell me now, everything stops. No more deals, bad deals or good deals, no Minaya, whatever. Right now, what's his grade for the offseason? And again, we will start up in the top left 2 block. It's going to be Sox Optimist, please.
Oh, man.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't warn you there was going to be an essay question, but there is.
No, that's okay. I mean, I've got Manet on the brain, and that would be terrific. But it disturbs me that the first person, and as far as I can find, the only person talking about the Manet thing is Bob Nightingale. That's never a good sign. So, I mean, let's assume. I'll try to assume in my brain it's done today. I'll give him a C.
Ooh, C. Okay, Adrian.
I'm going C plus. We still never dealt with starting pitching, which was the number one concern.
Okay, rough. Trooper, limited time here. I don't want to have to play you off. Give me that grade. Is it going to be better than C level?
Oh yeah, I'd go B since he actually, or B minus because he actually addressed a need. I'm not going to go as far as you as to say all of a sudden he's good at trades. His major league trades historically have been awful, but kudos to him. I think this one was an even Steven trade that addressed a need.
We'll have a side podcast afterward, Trooper. I'll explain to you why he's good at trades. And yeah, I'm totally in the bag for Rick Hahn, no doubt about it. Okay, Chrystal, what's a grade you're giving Rick Hahn?
I agree with a B minus. He addressed a need. He might have a solution for a better backup catcher, so I'm content with what he did.
Father Soxivus, please.
Once again, playing the outlier, I'm going with C. I don't like, yay, he addressed the need. That's what his job's supposed to be. Like, I don't want to give him an extra cookie for that. Like, good for him.
He's working with Jerry, though. Come on.
Yeah, that's a whole different podcast too, because I have issues with people that want to blame Jerry for him not knowing how to spend money.
I would have gave him a B if they landed Austin Meadows, but they didn't want to take out any money.
Yeah.
You guys must have got good grades growing up because like C is fine for me. I said C and like I'll take that.
These get degrees.
That's right now.
Delia, where are we at?
I'm gonna go with C's get degrees. C. Addressed a need, but not at the level that I want. But my level is in Dream World. So
okay, White Sox, listen closely to the person on this podcast who loves you most, who values you most, who, really, seriously, give me some love. Man, you guys are rough. Nobody asked, nobody cares what I think, but boy, I'm way closer to Trooper here. Okay, I'm gonna ding Hahn a little bit for just torturing us all goddamn off season. I understand. Okay, yeah, lockout, whatever. Okay, did nothing beforehand and really waited till the very end. Here and now, but yeah, okay, he did. All right, fine. You guys are saying C. I'll give him a B. But because I like you so much, Rick Hahn, maybe it's a B plus. Maybe whatever, higher than whatever Trooper said. Okay, listen. Okay, we're less than a minute. Let's not get cut off. Thanks everybody for joining me on this, including you, the readers, listeners, and sometimes even viewers of the Side Sox Podcast. This has been number 96. We're going to wind it up. We'll probably have something to you really soon. We got Minors Podcast coming. We got a big week for opening day coming up. So stick with us. We got more stuff than you even know what to do with.